Double Lover opens with Chloe's pale face, not very happy with her hair being cut, but it looks like she does not have a say. The screen turns pink and silver, and the camera starts zooming out gradually till it becomes a clear view of a woman's pastrami, which immediately dissolves into a geometrically corresponding close-up view of Chloe's eye. Then a speculum is seen from the point of view of a doctor conducting a vaginal examination. Chloe's gynecologist then tells her that her chronic stomach problems are psychosomatic. The gynecologist tells her that no physical cause can be found, and all she needs is a psychiatrist. Chloe agrees and asks her gynecologist to recommend someone for her. The gynecologist asks for her preference. Chloe then shows up at Paul Meyer's office. She sits in the waiting room, and a few minutes later Paul calls for her. Chloe explains her situation to Paul. She is a 25-year-old lady who is unemployed, stressed, and lives alone with her cat, Milo. She has been in several relationships which eventually did not work out, which made her conclude that she is not capable of loving. She was previously a model and has always had stomach pains. She has seen various specialists, and she has been advised to see a shrink. Paul then assures her that they both would find a solution to her problems, after which she leaves Paul's office. On Chloe's next appointment, she tells Paul that she dreamt of him. She narrates the dream of hers to Paul, who listened carefully without uttering a word. She tells Paul that she always imagined she had a twin sister who would be her double and protect her. She wanted to be an actress when she was a kid. She likes to seduce people around her even though she does not like to be touched. She tells Paul that her mother told her at the age of 7 that she was a result of a one-night stand she had and had even forgotten about. She was raised by her grandmother because her mother did not have time. The sessions continued and Chloe did not miss any. During one of the sessions, she revealed that she was called to resume for a part-time job at the museum. She feels happy and believes she is getting better. She even reveals that she has not had any pain in a week. At another appointment, Chloe comes in and sits without saying a word. Paul asks why she is not saying anything, and she replies that she doesn't feel the need to do so because she is happy and getting stronger. Paul then tells her that they have to end their sessions. Chloe asks if she did something wrong, but Paul says the fault is his. Paul reveals that he has developed feelings for Chloe, which is unethical. Paul then recommends a colleague, to which Chloe refuses and stands up to leave. Chloe offers to pay, but Paul refuses. Chloe then extends her hand to shake Paul. Paul shakes her hand, but does not release it. He pulls her closer, and Chloe moves to kiss him, to which Paul likes. Who wouldn't? Days later, Chloe moves in with Paul alongside her cat, Milo, which Paul despises. Rose, also a tenant, welcomes her to the building. Rose's apartment is adjacent to Chloe's while unpacking. Chloe found Paul's old passport with a different last name on it. When Paul gets back home, Chloe asks why his surname on the passport says Lord instead of Maya, and Paul explains that he took his mother's last name when he started his profession because Maya has a ring to it. That night, Chloe and Paul had a very intimate time together, while the cat got the best view. After playing with the kitty, Chloe tells Paul to promise her that he would tell her everything and not hide anything, and Paul agrees on the condition that Chloe would stop going through his things. The next morning, Paul goes to work, and so does Chloe. On her way home from work, Chloe looks outside the window of the bus and sees a man she thinks is Paul talking to a lady in front of an office. Chloe gets angry and furious. At dinner, Chloe asks Paul what he did throughout the day, and Paul tells her he was so busy at the hospital that he did not even have time to eat lunch. Chloe gets annoyed that Paul is lying to her and angrily leaves the dining table. Paul rushes after her to calm her down, trying to convince her that he was not the one she saw. The following day, Chloe goes back to where she saw Paul the previous day. The name tag in front of the office reads Louis Lord, psychoanalyst. Chloe snaps the tag with her phone camera and goes to work. At work, she called the number to make an appointment under the name Eva Martin, and she got one for the following day at 1 p.m. Chloe goes for her appointment with Louis. When she sees Louis, she is startled by the striking resemblance with Paul. Louis explains to Chloe that Paul is his brother. During the session, Chloe notices that Louis is the complete opposite of Paul. Louis is mean, harsh, and so aggressive that Chloe has to leave in annoyance. Louis charges her the full payment and hopes to see her on her next appointment, but Chloe issues him that she is not coming back. Chloe gets home and gets moody the entire night. Paul asks about her day, but she does not give a reasonable response. Paul then advises her to continue with her therapy sessions and volunteers to recommend a good friend of his. That night, Chloe felt pain in her stomach again. The next day, Rose comes to greet Chloe and brings some cake along. The two ladies talked for a while and Chloe asks Rose to take Milo with her for some time because Paul does not like the cat. Rose promises to take care of Milo. Some days later, Chloe goes back to Louis' office for another session, which also ends just as soon as it begins because Louis tells her he can only help her if she stops lying to him. Louis ends the session and charges her for a full session. Louis opens the door for her and stretches out his hand to shake her. Chloe shakes Louis and kisses him on the lips, which she immediately apologizes for and leaves. At home, Paul asks her how the therapy session with his friend, Agnes Wexler, went since Agnes is the person Paul recommended to Chloe. Chloe tells Paul that the session went well, and Agnes promised to help cure her. That night, Chloe has a fantasy dream where she makes love with both Paul and Louis at the same time. Well, maybe it's okay as long as the brothers don't touch. Chloe shows up again at Louis' office for another session. Louis takes her into his inner chamber where there is a bed. Louis starts romancing Chloe. He unbuttons her shirt and touches her mountains. He removes her belt and puts his hand in her pants. A part of Chloe enjoys it, and another part tries to fight Louis off. After a few minutes, Louis throws her in the bed and tells her that she will come next time. As predicted by Louis, Chloe is back. She enters the office, and it is empty. She then goes to the inner chamber and finds Louis sitting on the bed waiting for her. Chloe drops her bag and undresses, then joins Louis on the bed and they both have rigorous and rough-it-out time. After doing the nasty, Chloe starts dressing up to go. Louis asks her if she enjoyed the session. Chloe tells him that nobody has ever done that to her before. Then she hears the sound of a cat's meow. Chloe gets up from the bed and picks it up. Louis calls its name Denton. Chloe tells Louis that she had to give her cat to her neighbor because of her boyfriend. Louis explains that Denton is a rare breed of cat called tortoiseshell, which are always twins caused by a trisomy of the sex chromosome. Louis further explains that the same genetic eccentricity happens in humans too. Louis gives examples of some adults discovering that they carry the fetus of their brother, sister in their stomach, which is called cannibal twins. Chloe gets home and goes straight to Rose's apartment to check on Milo only to find out that Milo had run away. Rose assures Chloe that it will come back soon. Paul takes Chloe to an official dinner event where Chloe meets Paul's work friends. Coincidentally, Chloe meets Agnes Wexler for the first time, which comes as a surprise to Paul because Agnes is supposed to be Chloe's psychiatrist. Chloe makes an excuse using alcohol and asks that they go home. On the way home, Chloe tells Paul to pull over and she rushes out of the car and starts vomiting. While vomiting, she sees Louis walk out of the bushes in front of her and she starts running. Paul, who is still in the car, starts following her with the car. Then she falls down and Paul rushes to her, carries her into the car and drives home. Next day, Chloe is back at Louis' office. After the sex part, Louis asks Chloe who is more attractive between him and her boyfriend, but Chloe does not give him a direct answer, probably because they literally look alike. The only thing Chloe says is that she thinks of Paul when she is with Louis and vice versa. Chloe could not even bring herself to have sex with Paul using her stomach pain as an excuse. One fateful day, Chloe gets to Louis' office and he pounces on her, forcing himself on her despite Chloe fighting him off. When Louis finishes, he tells Chloe that he knows that his brother does not do her in like he does. Chloe, taken aback, asks Louis how he knew and Louis reveals that he had known from the beginning. He finally played along to watch her drown in her own lies. Chloe then tells Louis that they have to stop, and Louis insists that she must not tell Paul. At dinner, Chloe tells Paul that she wants to quit therapy. Chloe did not go to Louis' office, and he called her to find out why. She tells him Paul is starting to suspect, but Louis tells her not to worry since she did not tell him anything, so she goes the next day. There, Louis tells her that Paul changed his name because of him. He reveals that he is 15 minutes older than Paul. He calls himself and Paul the mirror twins because every one of his strengths is Paul's weakness, and vice versa. The following night, Paul takes Chloe out to a restaurant and proposes to her and she accepts. Chloe wakes up from sleep with a painful stomach pain. She later discovers that she is pregnant. She tells Louis about it, but doesn't tell Paul. Louis affirms that she is not sure who is responsible, which is why she did not tell Paul. Chloe then asks Louis why he and Paul are estranged and the real reason why they are not on good terms. Chloe then confronts Louis and says he is probably at fault, telling him he is the weaker person and all. Louis gets so angry and slaps Chloe so hard she falls through a glass door. Louis keeps hitting her until she is able to escape his grasp and run out the door. It is Chloe's birthday. Louis comes looking for her at the museum, offering to take her out. Chloe is excited because she thinks it is Paul. At the restaurant, Chloe gets to know that it is actually Louis and tries to leave. Louis then tells her to ask Paul about one of their former classmates named Sandra Schenker and she will understand everything. At home, Paul gets a call to travel for a seminar which will take 3 days. After Paul's departure, Chloe goes through his things and finds a letter addressed to Paul by Sandra. Chloe also found a gun. Chloe searches Sandra on the internet, gets her number and calls. Sandra's dad picks up and Chloe gets to know that Sandra had an accident that disabled her from leaving the house. Chloe goes to visit and meet Sandra's mother, who welcomes Chloe and takes her to Sandra's room where Sandra is laying still on the bed breathing with the help of oxygen. Sandra's condition disturbs Chloe in the stomach and she rushes out of the room. Irritable bowel syndrome will do that to you. Paul gets back from his trip and calls Chloe. Paul tells her that Agnes was at the seminar and she said she never saw Chloe. Chloe drops the call, takes the gun in Paul's drawer, and heads to Louis's office. After a few confrontations, Chloe points the gun at Louis and Louis knocks the door to the inner chamber and Paul comes out, confused as to who is who. She shoots one of them. Immediately, she starts feeling something moving in her stomach. She falls to the ground, her stomach tears open, and Chloe faints. Paul rushes Chloe to the hospital, and she undergoes surgery. Paul calls Chloe's mother, and she comes to the hospital. After the surgery, the doctor calls for Paul and Chloe's mother. The doctor explains that Chloe was carrying her unborn, parasitic sister in her womb. This is what has been causing her pain all the while, and it was removed. Chloe gets discharged, and Paul takes her home after she makes up with her mother. At home, Paul and Chloe have sex while Chloe's double is shown on the glass window hitting the glass till it shatters. What a trippy movie. Do you think Paul is actually Paul at the end of the movie? Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.